Good morning. We are so glad that you're here in person and online. My name is Jay Andrus. I am the interim 425 coordinator for our Thursday night service. I am going to go through some of our announcements this morning. You should have received a bulletin as you walked in the door. That's going to give you an update of what's going on here at church. We do have our 425 service on Thursdays. This week is Kit Barley and the Creekside Bandits. So if you are looking for just a chill night of fellowship with some friends from the venues, please come on out and see what we're doing. That's going to be at 6:30 to 7:30. We do have a summer book study coming up, What is the Bible? It's going to run 10 weeks starting in June from 6:30 to 8 o'clock on Tuesdays. It is based off of Rob Bell's What is the Bible? How ancient library of poems, letters, and stories can transform the way you think and feel about everything. So be sure to check out those small groups and sign up for that. If you want to get the most out of your relationship with us, you can download the Church Center app. Check us out on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. The Church Center app will let you sign up for small groups, get announcements for what's going on, and also allow you to set up your recurring donation. If you are new here, you should have gotten a bag with a welcome card inside of it. We would love for you to fill that out for a way for us to get in contact with you. Go ahead and stick it in an offering bucket or in the bins outside, and we will connect with you. Thanks so much for being here, guys.
Hello. Welcome to the venues. If you'd like to, please stand with us. We're going to sing a few songs together. We'd love for you to sing with us. Thank you for coming.
Your love is radiant diamonds, they're bursting inside us, we cannot contain. And your love will surely come and find us, blazing wildfire, singing your name. God of mercy, sweet love of mine, I have surrendered to your design, and may this offering stretch across the sky. These hallelujahs be multiplied. Your love is like radiant diamonds bursting inside us, we cannot contain. Your love will surely come and find us, blazing wildfire, singing your name. God of mercy, sweet love of mine, I have surrendered to your design. May this offering stretch across the skies. These hallelujahs We don't care how you felt, we just want to help you up. We don't care how you got here, just want you to know that you're enough. 'Cause you are welcome, you are complete, you are love beyond belief. God is love, alive in you and alive in me. Beyond belief, let's build those in need. Beyond belief, let's share our strength. Beyond belief, piety is some righteous sins to self. Let us be kind in love in God. Chipped and chiseled concrete, tired of building walls. The brightest light shines through the cracks before the fall. 'Cause you are welcome, you are complete, you are loved beyond belief. God is love, alive in you and alive in me. Beyond belief, let's build those in need. Beyond belief, let's share our strength. Beyond belief, piety is some righteous sins to self. Let us be kind in love in God. Let us be kind in love in God. You are welcome, you are complete, you are love beyond belief. You are welcome, you are complete, you are love beyond belief. You are welcome, you are complete, you are loved beyond belief. God is love, alive in you and alive in me. Beyond belief, let's build those in need. Beyond belief, let's share our strength. Beyond belief, piety is some righteous sins to self. Let us be kind in love in God. Let us be kind in love in God. We don't care how you felt, we just want to help you up. We don't care how you got here, just want you to know that you're enough.
Your love is strong and mighty. Your love
flows through the deepest waters. It rests on the mountain high. Your love is overwhelming, brought me to life again. Your love, it lasts forever. In you there'll be no end. Oh, only your love. Oh, only your love. Oh, only your love. Nothing can separate us. Any trials can't hide your love. No sorrow can wash it away. Oh, your love. Your love is like no other. Nothing else satisfies. It flows through the deepest water. It rests on a mountain high. Your love is overwhelming, brought me to life again. Your love, it lasts forever. In you there'll be no end. Oh, only your love. Oh, only your love. Oh, only your love. How deep, how wide, how long, how high, how deep, how wide, how long, how high. Your love is like no other. Nothing else satisfies. It flows through the deepest water. It rests on a mountain high. Your love is overwhelming, brought me to life again. Your love, it lasts forever. In you there'll be no end. Your love is like no other. Nothing else satisfies. It flows through the deepest water. It rests on the mountain high. Your love is overwhelming, brought me to life again. Your love, it lasts forever. In you there'll be no end. Oh, only your love. Oh, only your love. Oh, only your love.
Thank you for singing with us. You guys can all have a seat.
Well, today is the Sunday of Memorial Day weekend, a time that focuses on remembering. There are families in Buffalo, New York, and Uvalde, Texas, who are remembering. They are remembering people that have been brutally snatched away. They are left now with memories and madness. So today, this Sunday of Memorial Day weekend, we remember, and I invite you to pray. God, we come to you as we stumble over our words, wrestle with our emotions. We don't know what to say nor how to pray. We're sad, mad, frustrated, yes, even hopeless. So help us. For the families who sit with an empty place at the table today, we cry. Be near to the brokenhearted. We ask you to stir up within us the wisdom to know how to act and the courage to act. Guide us through the debates concerning mental health, a gun culture, the glorification of violence, and help us to know that it all matters. Awaken all of us, from the lawmakers in Washington to the lawbreakers, to your values and priorities. Help our lawmakers lead with wisdom, empathy, and courage, to lead with the children in mind. For children who are afraid to go to school, we pray. For teachers who have yet another layer of stress and anxiety added to an already highly pressurized job, we pray. Guide us to the time of which Isaiah prophesies, in which weapons will be turned into gardening tools. In the power and the authority of the Prince of Peace, Christ throughout the multiverse, we pray. Amen. Miss You is the song the band will sing today. And in light of the events, the phrase miss you takes on sobering meaning. But today, on this Memorial Day, you might want to say to someone in your life who has passed, I miss you. While they sing and play, we have the opportunity to make a financial investment in the venues. Why in the world would we ask you to do this? Well, obviously, we need it. But maybe not so obviously. We hope it is. This community is trying to make a difference. We're doing our best to love kindness and do justice, and to lead people to be kind, humble human beings. And thank you for that investment. I Miss You by the band.
Darkness in the valley, we can live like Jack and Sally if we want. You can always find me. We'll have Halloween on Christmas, and then I will wish this never ends. We'll wish this never ends. I miss you, I miss you. I miss you.
Where are you? And I'm so sorry. I cannot sleep, I cannot dream tonight. I need somebody, and always this sick, strange darkness comes creeping on, so haunting every time. And as I stared, I counted the webs from all the spiders, catching things and eating their insides, like the indecision to call you and hear your voice of treason. Will you come home and stop this pain tonight? And stop this pain tonight. Don't waste your time on me. You're already a voice inside my head. Don't waste your time on me. You're already a voice inside my head.
I miss you, I miss you.
waste your time on me. You're already the voice inside my head.
I miss you, I miss you.
Don't waste your time on me. You're already the voice inside my head.
I miss you, I miss you. I miss you, I miss you. I miss you, I miss you.
My gosh, thank you, band. Honestly, that's the first time I ever heard that song. That's the first time I ever heard of that group. But thank you so much. Spencer, I didn't know you sang. Oh my gosh, you and Trey were killing it. Thank you, Trey. Thank you, Spencer. Good job. Nice, everybody in the band. Give them another hand. Thank you, everybody. We like to remember things. We have birthdays and anniversaries. We have over 160 monuments in Washington, D.C. We even have a monument to a tree behind which a sniper stood in an effort to assassinate President Lincoln. Monuments. Monuments tell stories. And not all of our stories are happy ones. We have around our country monuments of victories, but monuments of tragedies. Some of the sadder monuments that we see, the Holocaust Memorial Museum in Washington. We have the Legacy Museum in Montgomery, Alabama. We have here in Springfield a monument recalling the lynching that was on the square of Springfield. We have in Springfield a plaque indicating that the Trail of Tears of Native Americans came through this area. Maybe it's good that not only our monuments celebrate victories, but our monuments mourn tragedies. Do the sad monuments serve a purpose? Philosopher and historian George Santayana said, yes, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. The poet Maya Angelou says, history, despite its wrenching pain, cannot be unlived and effaced with courage. There is the key, isn't it? It need not be lived again. Now, there is some legislation in our nation, specifically in legislatures of the states, many of the states that are mandating that only a feel-good history be taught to our students in history class. But I propose to you that the antidote to feel-good history is not feel-bad history, but it's honest history. It's inclusive history. That includes all peoples that make up this melting pot of the United States. On 9/11, the memorial acknowledges, gives us an opportunity to mourn. And the saying that goes with that event is never forget. But I'm thinking this, and you may or may not agree with this. We really don't want to forget what was done to us, but we seem to be ready to forget what was done by us. We don't want to forget what happened to us on 9/11. But how many of us prefer to forget what we did, what Europeans did to the Native Americans who were already on this land? Trail of Tears is one small monument that causes us to mourn, or what we've done to citizens, human beings of another race than white, and how we treated humanity. We don't like to remember those, do we? I want us to think about that. If we're so ready to remember what was done to us, then I beg of you, please remember what was done by us. If we fail to remember what was done by us, do you not think that it increases the chances that we would do it again? The Old Testament Hebrew Scripture book of Joshua, after the death of Moses and the crossing of the Jordan River from the wilderness into the land of Canaan, Joshua summoned the 12 men he had appointed from the Israelites, one per tribe. And Joshua told them, "Go in front of the ark of the Lord your God to the middle of the Jordan. And each of you is to put a stone on his shoulder, according to the number of the Israelite tribes. The stones will be a reminder," some translations say a memorial to you. "And when your children ask someday, 'Why are these stones important to you?' tell them how the water of the Jordan stopped flowing before the ark of the covenant of the Lord." Memorials are memory aids. Everybody gets to that point where we need memory aids. Oh my gosh. Where are my glasses, Nisi? Have you seen them? They're on your head. There's not one day, I don't think this is an exaggeration, that goes by that I don't ask Denise where I put something. It's as if I expect her to follow me like a shadow. I dropped an item in the hallway a moment ago, and a very dear person picked it up and waved. "Did you drop this?" Of course I did. You know, when people die, we try to remember them. We do it through headstones. And we put some kind of a statement on that headstone that reflects that person and helps everybody who might see that headstone know something of them. Kay's fudge. That's what people are to remember about Kay. You might want to write this down. It's a pretty good recipe. I like the last line as much as I like the recipe. "Wherever she goes, there's laughter." That would be a nice line to which to be remembered. But headstones are not the only thing that enables people to remember those who have died. We write these things called obituaries. Obituaries have nothing to do with death. Well, very little to do with the death. A death notice has something to do with death. But an obituary has everything to do with that person's life. Let's give you an example. This is the obituary part of it written by James Groff for him. "Jim died knowing that Monty Python and the Holy Grail was the best movie ever. Bruce Springsteen, the best recording artist, Clint Eastwood, the baddest man on the planet, and that chicks dig El Caminos." Man, I wish I would have known that. They didn't go much for Volkswagen Beetles. His regards were few, but included eating a rotisserie. His regrets were few, but included eating rotisserie hot dog from a convenience store in the summer of 2002, not training his faithful dog Rita to detect cancer, and that no video evidence exists of his prowess on the soccer field or in the bedroom. Well, it does exist today. I just don't recommend it. This is Val Patterson. He wrote his own obituary. "Now that I have gone to my reward, I have confessions and things I should now say. As it turns out, I am the guy who stole the safe from the Motor View Drive-In back in June 1971. I could have left that unsaid, but I wanted to get it off my chest. Also, I really am not a PhD. What happened was that the day I went to pay off my college student loan at the U of U, University of Utah, the girl working there put my receipt into the wrong stack. And 2 weeks later, a PhD diploma came in the mail. I didn't even graduate. I only had about 3 years of college credit. In fact, I never did even learn what the letters PhD stood for. For all of the electronic engineers I've worked with, I'm sorry. But you have to admit, my designs always worked very well and were well engineered, and I always made you laugh at work. Good guy. He goes on. My regret, and this is really sad, makes me sad after that good humor, is that I felt invincible when young and smoked cigarettes when I knew they were bad for me. Now to make it worse, I've robbed my beloved Mary Jane. Of a decade or more of the two of us growing old together and laughing at all the thousands of simple things that we have come to enjoy and fill our lives with, such happy words and moments. My pain is enormous, but it pales in comparison to watching my wife feel my pain. Well, you can read the rest. As she lovingly cares for and comforts me, I feel such the thief now for stealing so much from her. There's no pill that I can take to erase that pain. You know that a large portion of my life is performing weddings and funerals. And as I approach my 66th birthday, I'm probably thinking more about funerals than I've ever thought before, my own. And not that I think I'm going to die anytime soon, but you just never know, do you? All of us are in that boat. I'm thinking about who I want to speak at my funeral and who I do not want to speak at my funeral. That's a long list. And no, I'm not taking suggestions. I'm thinking about what songs to sing. Any suggestions? I am taking those. Please email those suggestions to me. What I want my headstone to say and what I want the obituary to say. I'll probably trust Denise and Daniel and Devin to write that if I go before they. I'll be in trouble if I let you write it. Is there anything you want to say now? Oh gosh, you guys will put it together, that's for sure. When I think about that, I go to Paul's letter to the Philippians that he wrote while he was in a Roman prison. And I've never been in prison. There's still tomorrow, but I've never been in prison. And I think when you're in those kind of situations, you begin to not be quite so frivolous. You take things a little bit more serious, whether you're in the waiting room of a hospital, whether you're in a funeral home planning office, whether you're in prison. Your thoughts are sober. So while Paul was in prison, in the very first chapter, the 3rd verse, Paul says to the people in Philippi, I thank my God every time I remember you. Every time I remember you, I thank God. Wouldn't that be nice? That if everyone, when they thought of you, thanked God for those memories. That's good, isn't it? Every time I think of you, Every time I remember you, I think of God. Now, that's not always the case. I've stood before multiple families in the chapels of funeral homes, given the task of saying something about a person about whom the family had nothing good to say. At a young age, Leslie quickly became a model example. The daughter wrote of her dad, of bad parenting, and a commitment to drinking, drugs, womanizing, and being generally offensive. Leslie's hobbies included being abusive to his family. With Leslie's passing, he will be missed only for what he never did, being a loving husband, father, and good friend. Leslie's passing proves that evil does in fact die, and hopefully marks a time of healing and safety for all. I apologize to anyone my father hurt, and I felt it would have been offensive to portray him as anything other than what he was. This obituary was intended to bring closure, because not talking about domestic violence does not make it go away. There are too many obituaries that reflect that same sadness. I don't want that to be mine. A lot of questions we ask ourselves as we think about our lives, and you don't have to be 66 to ask yourselves these questions. Most everybody asks these questions, things like, what do I want to do? Really, what do I want to become? What do I need to do in order to be a success, however we define that success? But those are all good questions, but I think the one question that may supersede those other ones, they're all good, and I encourage you to ask them. But the one question that I think in my life, anyway, is the primary question that should guide my life, and maybe yours too, is this: how do I want to be remembered? And however I answer that question, well then, the task is easy. I just start being that way. If I want to be remembered as a jerk, I'm just going to keep on being what I am, then a jerk. No. If I want to be remembered as kind, and I start right now as being kind. If I want to be remembered as helpful, as an advocate for justice, then I'm going to start doing that right now. The good thing is that if you're still here, and you're still writing your book. You've not come to the end. It doesn't matter what the previous chapters are. You can start writing a new book right now, a new chapter anyway. Well, how do you want to be remembered? And start being that right now. That question to me has at least 3 benefits. It tells you what you stand for, your core personal values. It shows you how you want to show up in your daily life. The day has begun, the sun is up, I'm out of bed. I want to show up as a kind person today. And it roots you in the present. Today I will be this. Right this moment, I am sober. Right this moment, I am kind. Right this moment, I am thoughtful and considerate, and I am listening and trying to understand someone. Now, the next moment, I'll worry about that the next moment. But right now, this is who I am, and this is how I am behaving. It roots me in the present. Rosa Parks says, I would like to be remembered as a person who wanted to be free, so other people would also be free. We remember Rosa Parks as the one who sat down on that bus. Malala Yousafzai. You don't want to be remembered as the girl who was shot. You remember she was violently, brutally shot in her face as a proponent for girls' education. I want to be remembered as the girl who stood up. Rosa, the woman who sat down. Malala, the woman who stood up. Al Pacino, I like to be remembered as the only man who lived to be 250 years old. So how do you want to be remembered? Once you determine the answer to that question, just start being that way. I think asking yourself, how do you want to be remembered, to me, is similar, or at least it leads to another question. How do you want people to feel around you and because of you? Back to Maya Angelou, I've learned that people will forget what you said. It's kind of a sad thought. All the sermons I've preached and everybody will forget them. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And I think Miss Angelou would admit that a lot of what we say and a lot of what we do is the substance of then how we make people feel. What are our words? And that's not just my words to a congregation on a Sunday morning, but it's my words to Denise, to Daniel, and to Devin, and to daughters-in-law, Emily and Kylie, and to you. How do I want people to feel about me when I'm gone? It's an important question. So if you're a leader, think about the people with whom you work, over whom you have the responsibility of employment, and how do you want them to feel when they work with you? And if you are a parent, how do you want your children to feel when they reflect back on their childhood? In short, it's simple. Just decide how you want to be remembered and how you want people to feel. And be that way. So I want to close with this tongue-in-cheek statement by Conan. Eventually, all our grades go unattended. We have Memorial Day to maybe make sure that doesn't happen. To make sure people are remembered. Whether it's people that serve the country, whether it's a family member or a friend or an unknown individual. We all deserve to be remembered. Let's do that on this Memorial Day. Hey, I want you to remember something. It's 10:45. Have you ever listened to me preach for such a short time? Remember this. Let's take about, depending on how many there are, I don't want to sit here for 15 minutes answering questions, but Miss Laura and Miss Denise, if there are any questions, they're right there. You can text those in. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Nisi. How do you want to be remembered?
I don't know. Maybe kind.
Kind's a good thing. No questions?
How do you want to be remembered?
I was thinking kind. You took my answer. I do think kindness, though. How do y'all want to be remembered? Does anybody want to answer that? You had an opportunity before today to think about it? Yeah. Gentle. I like it. Your wife laughed at you. It's a lot of work. Well, we're still writing the book, aren't we? Anybody else? How do you want to be remembered?
Yeah, there's microphone, or there's one right
There
here.
are some, yeah. There's one, yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Tolerant.
that's good.
I may have to change my answer. These are good. Gentle and tolerant. Anybody else? Yeah. Loving. What encompasses it, doesn't it? Loving.
Here's a question or a comment or a question.
Read it before you,
Okay.
to yourself before you read it out loud. You're grimacing.
No.
No.
After a lifetime of worrying what others think,
Oh.
do you think it's okay to not give a crap what others think?
Oh, I like that question. Who asked that?
It's anonymous on here, so there's no way to know.
Okay, that's deep, isn't it? There is validity in that, in the principle behind that. There really is. I do not want to be controlled in my actions by what other people think, meaning this. I want my actions to be shaped by love and tolerance and gentleness and kindness. Those are the values that guide. I don't always live up to that. Aspirational. So, there have been times that I have taught things that have been difficult for me to say, difficult for people to hear. But they have been guided by tolerance, and I wanted to present them gently, and I wanted to be loving but truthful, or loving and truthful. Yet I knew the cost of those statements would cause me to be blacklisted, labeled, fired. So I counted the cost, and in a sense, in the terminology, I didn't give a crap about what people thought about it. But that doesn't reflect my heart. It might reflect yours, and that's okay. I did care. I really did care what people thought, even those who didn't like it. But what I stated and what I stood for in that was of more importance to me than whether or not people cared. But I did always, and I do always want whatever I say to be framed in love. Do you have an addition to that answer?
No,
value
we
the-
intend to not care what people think sometimes. I
Yeah.
mean, because sometimes it just hurts your feelings, or
Right.
I'm lean more on not saying anything at all because I'm afraid I might hurt somebody's feelings. And I respect that about you, that you speak the truth to a degree that it doesn't matter sometimes what people think, because you do have to speak the truth. And
Yeah.
so,
That's why they pay me the big bucks to speak the truth. you know.
and sometimes I just want to keep the peace.
But I think the person who wrote this, I admire your value that you would not allow the fear of other people to squash you from being you and your true self. Yeah.
One thing that we've kind of left out is mutual understanding when opinions differ.
You're right. We have left out, thank you for saying that, the voice from the dark. We have left out mutual understanding when our opinions differ. I love that. Thank you for that. Yeah.
I want to be accepting, supportive, and non-judgmental.
I love all that.
That's really good.
Accepting, supporting, and non-judgmental. Yeah.
So here's
Yeah.
here's a statement. How can I be known for speaking the truth and not backing down at the same time?
Yeah, speak your truth. I like the gentleman's statement. I like every statement, but in relation to this question, understanding, even when opinions differ.
And this is good. What would you suggest for someone who isn't ashamed of their past, but rather is wanting to use their past mistakes to create something beautiful now? That's really good. Because there are a lot of people that we talk to that are ashamed of their past, but they help so many people that are going down the same road or have some of the same struggles. So I think that's the beauty of when our past can be used to help somebody else.
Yeah, that person's question indicates that they are already understanding and embracing the value that their story has for other people. Yeah, a lot of people have very sad, tragic, and past that can adversely affect their present, but they are, in Father Rohr's terminology, they're transforming their suffering in order for it to transform them and to transform others. So that's really positive. All right, one more, dear, if there is one.
I'm struggling to feel like being kind when our government or our country keeps letting us down over and over again.
Yeah,
I
do too. I
mean,
feel the struggle. Go ahead.
You could fill in the blank with, I think people just do that. If we're human beings, we're just going to do that. We're going to let people down ourselves. We do that with each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is sometimes it takes an emotion of anger to effect a change. And what I have tried to do is when I feel that anger toward an individual, an institution, or whatever, a church, a government, fill in the blank, as Nisi said, I don't want to speak out of my anger. My mom used to, she's amazing, but she was a very angry lady when I was a young guy. She was fiery. And God did some work in her life. I don't know what it was, but she did change. But even in my young childhood, junior high and high school, there would be times that I would just see Mother's lips moving. And I knew what she was doing. She was saying the books of the Old Testament just to give herself time to calm down. And there are 39 books. If she was not quite so emotionally charged, she'd just say the books of the New Testament. There's only 27 there. So that's a good lesson I learned. Just, okay, if you're angry, don't speak out of that anger. Now, you can speak forthfully and forcefully, but maybe not angrily. That's what I'm trying to do, and I don't know. All right. We're going to Little Rock today. So.
We're going to go visit the graves. We don't always do that, but sometimes we do.
Yeah.
So this is a year of losing parents, and so I know you all have faced that too, some of you. So it's a good time to remember the memories.
Yeah, it is.
Joey, you're on.
Okay, I can use this one. I'm going to use your mom's technique of calming down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to memorize them first, though.
I know, yeah.
It's hard.
Goodness.
That was one thankful thing I have from my Sunday school years in Southern Baptist churches.
Yeah. I think I did. I think I could get pretty far.
You could do
Yeah.
it.
I had to memorize them too. But
and we learned the New Testament with a song.
Okay, here we go.
Maybe that's next year, next
Oh,
month.
okay.
Yeah. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts, and the letters to the Romans.
All right.
2 Corinthians, Galatians, and Ephesians. Then Philippians, then Colossians, first and second.
You don't need me anymore.
Oh, I do, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us this morning. We love you all. Thank you for those of you who have watched online. Thanks for joining us. We are going to first, before anything.